Everyday Exotic behind the scenes video, take 1. Wait, no, that's 6.
Take a thing.
I just wrote numbers on here.
Yeah.
Because numbers are cool. And marker. Okay, so this is kind of like Carside Questions in terms of our setup and format, but we kind of wanted to do more of a video of why are we doing this? Like, what's the point? What was the motivation?
For me, a huge part of this is the fact that when you've amassed a car collection, the main point of having these cars isn't just to like own them and hide them away. To me, that's the worst thing you could ever do with a classic car collection. I also fully understand that a lot of people don't have the opportunity to really experience these cars. And so I love the idea of doing something where we talk about this is what it's like to own it, this is what it's like to drive it. I'd already thought at some point about doing something along the lines of a YouTube channel or something, but I didn't want to really walk around the shop with yet another camera in my hand or my cell phone, like holding it up and going, hi, here's what I'm currently doing right now, wander around, oops, I dropped the camera, whatever, we'll leave that in. I wanted to do something that was really high quality. I didn't have the skills to do this. So when the opportunity came to really launch into making this happen, Joel came in with the idea, we did the test episode, it was amazing what we came out with. I loved doing it, it was a lot of fun, and this is a great way for us to continue to share who we are, what we're doing, and what these cars are, and why we love them. A lot of classic cars are absolutely brilliant. Some of them are crap, frankly. But even the really poor ones can be a lot of fun if you look at it the right way. And it's good to know what's good about a car, what's bad about a car. Make up your own mind. And so that to me is really what the point of this entire channel is. It's really to say, here's the great things that these classic cars are. Here's the history behind them. Here's the things that we enjoy doing with them. Come along, enjoy the ride, have fun.
And it's also just about us having fun, being silly together.
It's fending off invisible elves. So,
I like that. That's a Mystery Science Theater reference.
which someone may get.
Occasionally making Joel laugh, so we have to like stop because he's
Not
you know,
occasionally,
you
very often.
Can't hear him on the camera. We're all having a good time, and I feel like we want to share that, not just, hey, we have a cool collection of cars that we want to share with you. Though that is important. That's huge because I love the fact that we have cars that no one else has seen. And it's like, okay, if you can't see these in person, we can at least show them to you on camera in their natural habitat, which is not a garage. It makes me feel very cool to drive a convertible, especially one of this vintage.
So I can't imagine doing this car show without Amy.
Amy makes a show, frankly.
Aw.
I mean, we don't need another middle-aged white guy out there
Yet
talking
another
about cars.
Guy car show, yeah.
I mean, it's fine, but at the same time, perspectives are really what makes this work.
I agree. I think that if it wasn't both of us, this show would not work as well as it does. For instance, it's really the chemistry between us that makes it work, because it's also not just about the cars. It's also about us interacting with the cars interacting with the environment that we live in, because I mean, we live in a gorgeous driving area.
Absolutely.
Oregon is fantastic.
Honestly, a big part of it also, literally that, it is getting these cars out and driving them in real world environments, kind of driving them in the environment that they're meant to be in. Some of these cars are better suited for in-town. We'll probably be filming some that are primarily going to be in-town drives. It may not be as interesting as the beautiful country roads, but when the car tops out at 46 miles an hour, I'm sorry, me driving down the country roads is basically going to be a bunch of people honking their horn at me. And
That is still my favorite. Like the MG, the shot
Yes.
of you guys driving, saying this isn't very fast, and then there's that giant logging truck behind you, kind of like,
Yeah.
You know when you're going to get passed by the logging truck?
You're going too slow.
You're going too slow.
Foot on the brake.
Yeah.
Give it a little bit of gas.
Houston, are we started? Are we there? Oh.
Amy, you mentioned how you're familiar with all the collection and you've been in almost every car as a passenger, but then to transition into driving and then being able to objectively drive and review it, it takes a certain amount of bravery to be able to be like, I'm going to drive this potentially irreplaceable classic car with all of its quirks and talk about it on a camera while out driving on the highway with the camera in front. Thoughts on that? Like, how was that experience?
I really feel like it's good for me. I feel like filming this channel has kind of pushed me outside of my comfort zone and also allowed me to interact more with the collection as opposed to looking at a car and going, that car looks cool. Driving a car, even if I'm like, oh no, it's still a good experience because it's like, oh, this is really different. This is really interesting. And I feel like I've grown as a driver as well as kind of as a person, I guess.
I mean, really, we're here also not just doing this because we enjoy it. We're hoping that you watching it enjoys this because frankly, that's the reason to do this. I can go out and drive these cars all I want. We can go out and have fun with them. We're enjoying filming it, but at the same time, if you're not enjoying watching it, what's the point? This is really not just for us, it's to share this with you.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's interesting. You know, we've talked about this from the beginning, but to think about this moment filling it with intentionality, right? The branding, the fact we all are wearing our shirts and hats, and we're wanting to start this with a really solid foundation that grows into something super interesting over time. And so to me, the people who are watching this video right now, you guys, it's really cool to think that they're here now and we get to build something together, like dynamically over time. We think the format's great. There's not a lot of people doing this sort of thing, but maybe the format needs to change and people will be like, oh, I have an idea. What if you did this?
I want this to be fun for people who aren't really that into cars. So let us know, hey, if you'd like to see more of Amy knitting, we can make more of Amy knitting being part of the show.
Everybody comments on the knitting. There's always this moment of like, oh, she's knitting. And that's so great.
This definitely emphasizes the short people problems. Okay, so I knit all the time. This is just part of me. I'm not putting that on for the channel. It's not a gimmick. This is just what I do.
We've done off-road Jeep trips with her knitting as we go down the trail.
Yes. A lot of the time it's like, wait, you do that in the car? But it's fun to expose people to that.
But at the same time, it's one of those things where there will always be a car element. There will always be a focus on a car. We may branch off into doing a few videos on other things, not necessarily car reviews, but, oh, we're going and doing this event. Here's what we're doing at the event. If we're working on a restoration project or partnering with someone on a restoration project, talk to some of the techs, kind of show what's going on.
And also we have at least one shop that has worked with a whole bunch of our cars, so it could be a unique perspective with this is what it's like not just to work on an individual car, but to work with a collection.
Yes, if that's something of interest, we're happy to do it.
An operative phrase in our filming and in our creation of this show is, wouldn't it be fun if? And the fact that we're able to make a lot of that stuff happen is so awesome. It's so cool.
We have certain cars that we've got some really complex ideas on how we want to present it. We haven't necessarily filmed them yet because it's going to take time to get prepped for and put together, but it'll be fun. It'll be things that'll have weird references, things that a lot of people I think watching this would get and love. Other people may watch and go, what the heck are they doing now? The thing we love about this is that we are in full control of this.
Yes.
That means we can do this without having to cater to the demands of sponsors, the demands of producers on a channel or something along that line.
Executives
And focus groups and things like that. So the other thing I want to definitely say is this is not a place, I mean, I will make a promise right now. We will sell no vitamins, no male enhancement or shaving products, no
makeup,
no phone games, no makeup, no completely extraneous stuff.
If it doesn't have to do with cars,
doesn't
or
have to
knitting.
do with cars or knitting, we're not going to touch it at all.
Or camera gear.
Or camera
just
gear.
putting that out there.
So, I mean, that doesn't mean that we wouldn't mind having some income to help support this, but that is not our goal here. Our goal is to put this out and make it fun.
Here at Everyday to Exotic, we have professional laundering, dry cleaning. That actually works.
One of the cool things about this project, as well as not needing to have sponsorships or other things, like we said, if we want sponsorships, or if it aligns with the Haugland Collection and kind of the goals of the channel, like we're totally open to that. But at the same time, we're not doing this because we need to make a channel that makes money or can grow. And a lot of these channels, you know, they reach a certain threshold, and then in order to continue to sustain themselves, they do need to bring in some of these other sponsorships.
And if we do, it's going to be something that really applies to us. It'll be things we use, things we believe in, things along that line. If we have a sponsor, it's going to be a sponsor we believe in, a sponsor that we support, that we are willing to actually bring forward, not because we need their money, but because, hey, this is something that we think does a good job of forwarding the hobby, forwarding the industry. The other thing is, it's not just like Amy and myself and Joel making this happen. There's a lot of other people behind the scenes. We have to have someone to drive the camera van. We have to have someone to help out with prepping the cars and things like that. And
Amy doing the merch.
Amy playing around with the idea of merch, which, hey, at some point, we'll probably have out there. You aren't obligated to buy it. If you want to, thank you. It's a great way, basically, to help keep us doing this, because this isn't free for us to do. It's one of those things where we're putting money into making this happen. If we can support it, it makes it easier for us to keep it happening.
Yes.
Let's see how our Porsche did. Sorry, I was saying did and then tried to change it.
The other thing is that we already have over 190 cars. We have material for this show.
I'm looking forward to getting a little bit further into this channel being out there, having more people watching it. As we get more people subscribing, hint, hint, we'll start also getting some of the more weird, fun, and esoteric stuff. There's a lot of stuff I'm sure a lot of people watching this have never heard of in the collection, and they're fantastic cars.
All right, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of whatever this video.
Yeah.
What is this video?
This special episode of Everyday to Exotic.
Of why the heck are we doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for joining us for this episode of Why Are We Doing This? This will probably be the only Why Are We Doing This episode, so...
Later on it'll be, why are we still doing this?
Yeah. Why are we still doing
Actually,
this?
that would be really good.
1 year update, like, why are we still doing this? Because it's cool. TM.
So thank you for joining us, getting an inside view of sort of what's up here and why we're doing it. And we'll continue to make these things and have a hell of a lot of fun.
Okay, see you next time. Bye. That's just a thing I do anyway, so that's gonna be an Amy thing. It's sort of like the knitting. It's just like, this is what Amy does.
Awesome. All right.
That
Believe
was
it or
fun.
not, that was an hour. I
Wow.
It
thought
doesn't surprise me, honestly. I mean,
It doesn't surprise me,
were-
but it doesn't feel like it was an hour.
I thought we were gonna be like, oh, we'll do some 20 minutes and we're done.
Yeah.
We had a lot to say.